Good Wednesday morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Happy Hump Day. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning. If you're watching this live, thank you for that. If you're watching this online at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast, appreciate that as well. We do upload audio and video versions to our website after we are done with the regular show, so you can watch them there at your leisure whenever you please. If you ever miss this show at any point in time, we understand that sometimes you don't want to listen to me live in the morning. However, we do give traffic and weather, which we're about to roll into in just a second. So sometimes we do recommend that you check us out, especially this morning. There are delays on I-12 westbound, backed up all the way to Juban Road. Not entirely sure why, other than your normal course of action, folks just starting to speed up after they get past that range intersection. So those delays do stack up. They're causing delays at 190, 4-H Club Road and River Road. Also causing some minor delays on 64 heading into Central right now, looking like your most clear way to get into Baton Rouge. Normal delays in and around the schools in Denham, Walker, and Watson. So please keep that in mind as you're driving in and around those school zones. Please be on the lookout for kids. It's currently 48 degrees. 78 is your high, so it's going to go up 30 degrees today. 53 your low. Kind of looking at a little bit of a warming trend. Going to be a little more like fall weather going forward. You're looking at low 70s, high 60s during the day, starting about Thursday, tomorrow. Going through the weekend, it's not quite going to get up to 80. It will fall back down. So, however, it'll probably feel like it's about 80 degrees outside. Some of the state computers are still down after a cyber attack on Monday that placed ransomware inside the state servers, trying to hold data hostage and that kind of thing. According to the governor, the state did not pay any ransom. They should be able to get all their systems back in hand. It's just taking a little longer than they thought. It's looking like today is another day that especially the Department of Motor Vehicles will be down, so you will not be able to transact any business with that department for another day today. The policy committee for the school board met yesterday to discuss a Department of Education application of fee waivers for those who are considered economically disadvantaged or hardened. That is a requirement from the Department of Education, mostly just discussing that as an educational purpose, just to kind of let everybody know what's going on. But they will have to adopt that per DOE and per mandated law by December 1st, so that will probably be adopted on Thursday. They also gave approval to send to the full board. Each one of these committees is made up of individual board members. So for the policy committee, there are 4 members, and for the budget committee, there are 4 members. So they discussed the new policy with stricter enforcement of cell phone rules at high schools and junior highs, looking at taking those phones and putting them in the office. There are some schools that already did that. Once the phone reaches the office or whatever the electronic device might be that's not approved, it had to be retrieved by the student's parents. And of course, the more times the phone was confiscated from an individual student, the worse the punishments got. Now they're looking to just do that, just blanket that system wide. As we understand it, it was approved by the committee to be sent to the full board. Of course, the full board has to adopt it. The meeting tonight will consist of a small discussion about what's called the 16th section of land. That is a bunch of land that was donated to the school board many years ago. According to the school board attorney, Mark Boyer, it was hundreds of years ago. It was a long time ago, or over 100 years ago. And so it's just a discussion about what they're doing with that land, what's going on with it. The secondary meeting, however, is a discussion of the superintendent's evaluation. The superintendent gets a quarterly evaluation based on a specific rubric, which is then given to him, and the actual committee that goes over it discusses that with the superintendent, which they then bring to the full board if they all come to agreement on what is put in the evaluation. Now, this whole marathon of committee meetings ends with a school board meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Of course, they'll be talking about the electronics policy we mentioned, superintendent's evaluation, but there's some other things going on too. There's also an attempt to establish a contract with Taylor Media Services, which is Miss Delia Taylor. As of right now, it's just sort of it's a per assignment kind of basis, paying her a retainer for some other things. This would be a solid base for a contract with a contracted rate. So we'll see how that turns out in terms of what the hourly rate will be. She does a lot of content creation for the schools, including graphics, stories, that kind of thing. The parish council is also tomorrow. We'll talk more about that in the morning. However, grinder pumps are back. This is supposed to be the proposed ordinance is up for a public hearing without inclusion of real estate agents and that sort of thing. Going to be interesting to see what we get there. The syringe program that was discussed 2 meetings ago is now up for an introduction. So this is by Parish Councilman Shane Mack, who is the chairman of district, and he is also from District 9, which is the Albany area in North. Will be interesting to see if they approve an introduction of that ordinance. There was some hesitation from the council when all of that was introduced, just as a potential program. It was never actually introduced as an ordinance. So whether or not the full council will play ball will be an interesting thing. We'll dive more into that tomorrow. There's another hazard mitigation grant program home that is going to be acquired, not elevated, but acquired. So that will become green space. That's down in the French settlement area. And also, it's an introduction night for the budget for 2020. So going to be looking at that as they roll it out, trying to get it approved before the first of the year. Kate Thompson of Denham Springs signed with Wisconsin, and we have a story up online at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. It'll also be in Thursday's paper. First Louisiana student, period, going to Wisconsin. So made a little history with her signing. You can read all about her online. Also, a crazy story from yesterday. Mr. Brennan Amato from Denham Springs High School was 17th at the state 5A cross-country championships, which is a great finish, great individual finish. He then came home and played a soccer game against Mandeville and scored a goal. And as Mr. Adam Henderson, who covered the soccer game, will tell you, he cramped up, and it was definitely understandable because of the day that he had had. He had traveled all the way up to Natchitoches to run in the cross-country championships and then traveled back. I think he went to a few classes and then ended up at the soccer game. So quite a day for Mr. Amato, and of course the soccer team beat Mandeville 2-1. Live Oak girls were 10th at the cross-country state championships, so congratulations to those girls. Basketball has started. We are littered with it online at the moment. I recommend you go check it out at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. Tons of games yesterday. Denham Springs girls won in convincing fashion, as did Holden girls. So those two programs kind of continuing to push along just like they were last year. Big wins from the Holden boys and Springfield boys as well, along with a plethora of other games that we're trying to get round up. So please check that out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. But we are into the winter sports season, so you're looking at girls and boys soccer as well as girls and boys basketball. So lots and lots of action here in the wintertime. Indoor track, with cross country wrapping up, indoor track will be starting soon as well. Ford recognized the Literacy and Technology Center as a top 5 automotive career exploration school. So they have a automotive program there at the Literacy and Technology Center, or Southeastern at Livingston. It's kind of a little bit of both. Again, on the left side of the building, if you're facing it, is most of the Livingston Parish public school-based curriculum, which is where Ford gave the award. On the right side belongs to Southeastern, and they split use of the building. So Ford came yesterday actually it was Monday, to the building to present them with an award and talk about the program that they have. And these kids that go through it know a lot about, everything from tires to engines to body frames. They learn a lot. I mean, there's a whole body shop you'd never know it was there. Because the garage door to bring in the vehicles is on the side of the building. I mean, it just looks like a big section of classrooms, but one of those classrooms is technically a body shop and a machine shop. So congratulations to the Literacy and Technology Center for the recognition by Ford. Again, they're top 5 automotive career exploration schools. So congratulations to them. Remember, there are coming back around to your traffic. Remember that there are delays on I-12 westbound heading into Baton Rouge, starting about a mile after the Denham Springs exit, as folks trying to get past there and get merged. That is now backed up all the way to Jubin Road. It is causing delays on Highway 190 heading into Baton Rouge, heading westbound. And as especially on 4-H Club Road and Rushing Road, as folks try to avoid all those delays on the interstate. Some minor delays on River Road heading into 190. Highway 64, minor delays, looking relatively clear. Of course, there are delays on Greenville Springs Road, but looking right now like your best way to get into Baton Rouge. There are delays on 16 coming out of Watson and by Denham Springs High School. Heavy delays on Burgess heading into 447, as a lot of these folks, a lot of parents drop their kids off at school, trying to get on the interstate, trying to get to work this morning. It's currently 48 degrees, 78 degrees is your high, 53 degrees your overnight low. Going to look at this is about as hot as it's going to get. Going to look at a cooling trend over the next couple of days. Starting about Sunday, looking at 71 as a high, in the 40s in your lows. So a cooling trend heading into this Thanksgiving week. Don't forget, your kids are going to be out of school next week, but we'll talk more about that on Friday as we approach the Thanksgiving holidays. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Please remember that we are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We are once a week in print. We also have an app. Please check that out. We'd appreciate it. Excuse me. So thanks again for joining us. Happy Hump Day, and we will see you tomorrow.